Hello everybody, so welcome to this new episode of the Power Series. So today, Positive Luxury's co-founder and CEO Diana Verde Nieto will be in conversation with board member and vice president of Shah Wellness Clinic, Alejandro Bataller, CEO of McQueens Flowers, Richard Eagleton, and founder of Inlight Beauty, Dr. Mariano Spiezia, and managing and marketing director of Inlight Beauty, Loredana Splezia. So they'll be discussing how we can harness the gifts that nature bestows upon us to be the best versions of ourselves. So before we start, please note that we'll have 15 minutes at the end of the conversation to answer questions, and please submit those into the Q&A box on screen. So over to you, Diana.
Thank you, Oliver, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today and for taking time to share with us another Power Series episode. This time, the power of nature, and this is like I have with you mind, body, and soul, which is a great privilege. So thank you again very much for joining us. I would like to start with you, Richard. You know, COVID has emphasized the need for a model of, you know, coexisting between people, planet, and profit. McQueens Flowers exists very much at the intersection of those. And can you tell us a little bit more about McQueens Flowers and how do you deliver, you know, kind of this new way of thinking? Over to you, Richard.
Thank you, Dana. I think that the pandemic has given us an opportunity to stop, reflect, and consider how we move forwards into this, what will be an exciting new world, actually. This new world ahead of us, to step into this pandemic teleportation machine, if you like. But as a business, we've always relied heavily on highly skilled and creative people to select an ever-changing and unpredictable perishable product or raw material, manufacture it by hand, and create something extraordinary and unique, and often in front of the customer, often on site, not out of sight at all. So actually, we've always been at that intersection of people, planet, and profit. As we walk forward, what the COVID-19 has really helped us to do is we continue to work through our CSR plan, our action plan, and we've achieved a lot already across supply chain, people, consumption, and community. But we're moving much more towards a triple bottom line approach to running the business. So when we come out of this, we will be an international luxury brand, making things by hand, telling wonderful stories with flowers, and measuring our success across the triple bottom line.
Thank you very much, Richard. And I love what you do. Put a smile on my face every time I get a bouquet of McQueens Flowers. Alejandro, you work in an industry that also combines nature, food, health, and people, of course. As the co-founder of Shah Wellness, you help people to be a better version of themselves. Tell us more about Shah Wellness and how do you actually deliver to that?
Well, thank you very much, Diana. Pleasure to be with you today. You know, actually, we've born in Argentina, and you know, in Argentina we are very heavy red meat eaters. And my father has been suffering health diseases for a long time, and never finding an answer on conventional medicine, and getting a very hopeless and worrying diagnosis 18 years ago. Thanks to this diagnosis, he was able to transform his lifestyle and to recover his health thanks to that transformation. I followed my father after his experience, and I was also able to get rid from different health issues that I was carrying. And we felt so passionate about the impact that nutrition, the impact that nature, the impact that holistic medicine can have in ourselves, that we decided to read more about it, to research more about it, and then to share it with others. We started nearly 16, 17 years ago with this dream named Shah Wellness. We opened already 12 years ago. Nowadays, Shah has become a worldwide reference in terms of health and well-being, especially in terms of integrative medicine. And the main pillar of SHA is definitely nutrition, which is very much related with nature. As Hippocrates say, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. It's something that unfortunately nowadays we have forgotten. And you go with any symptoms to a conventional doctor, and very rarely they will even ask you what is your nutrition or what is your lifestyle. We always focus on antibiotics or medication or interventions just to resolve once the problem is already there, but we never go to the root. Also, it impacts not only our health, but the health of our planet. And meat consumption is a big example of that, because it represents first more than 30% of land's planet dedicated to livestock, but then it represents nearly 20% of the greenhouse gas emissions, the livestock. If we continue society eating the same way we eat nowadays, it will be completely unsustainable for 2050. So we gotta make a change, and that's related with processed food, which represents over 60% of our diet. We gotta make a change in terms of our sedentary lives to move more on a balanced, physical, adapted way to each stage of our life. And this is what we do at SHA. It's not the place that you come to get to detox for 1 week and you continue with your current lifestyle. What we pretend is to be an inflection point on people's lives so they can take better care of themselves and, of course, of their planet.
Thank you very much. And as an Argentinian, I can definitely say that we both grew up eating meat, twice a day. And, when you kind of grow up and you come to the UK, which is like, actually, there's other things to eat, they're not just meat. You start learning about, balanced diets. And it's something that actually the Argentinian staple, we never learned about it. So yeah, what you said is quite profound. I have a very Latin panel today, and I have an honorary Latin, which Richard has spent a lot of time in Mexico. So it's great. Thank you so much, Alejandro, from that. And I'd like to now move to Mariano. And I see you, Mariano, and Loredana together, beyond obviously the fact that you have built a company. But actually, when you see you together like this is like, for me, what success look like. So well done.
Thank you.
And I'm not talking about the business. So Mariano, you have created a fantastic brand. Inlight Beauty is unique, has such a connection to nature, being organic and with almost no chemicals. Tell us a little bit more about Inlight Beauty and what was your drive to build a brand like that?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity, Diana. As you can see, I am Italian. So I was Italian, now I'm English as well, enjoying the English weather. Having started more than 20 years ago, we came over for an holiday here in England, in Cornwall. We are in Cornwall. And we fell in love with this environment, beautiful, wild. And what was very, very incredible here was the green, the wildness. And what really made inside me thinking was listening and observing nature. I am a doctor, so I've been working in hospital for many years, but also I am homeopath and herbalist. So here the nature is vibrant, green, exciting, and discovering all these beautiful flowers and herbs we have here, I started looking at how to have this connection with the English people and with the Cornwall. And the idea came up when I started making some ointments for some of my clients using local herbs, infusing herbs in oils, etc. And when I started looking at very deeply in the cosmetic ingredients, I was horrified because I discovered that there were a lot of chemicals that are hormonal interfering, so they interfere with our hormones, especially in the women. So I decided with Loredana to start making the purest possible skincare products. Also because I couldn't speak English, so I said, no, let's do it something by hand. And so we decided to use only organic ingredients, both to preserve nature, to take from nature the best part of it, and also to give back to people something pure, alchemically blended, to give back something, because we receive and we need to give. And so the idea was born to create something special that was vibrating not only on the skin, but with the skin. Because in my opinion, nature talks constantly with us, and a very subtle language. And we have to learn how to listen this language. And the products talking with the body, with the skin, can really make a change. So they are almost therapeutic, but I cannot say. So they are cosmetic, they make a change on the skin, but they really bring the beauty of nature, the beauty of flowers. And here we have Richard, an expert, on our body and in our body. So this is why we have decided to be 100% organic. And we were the first company here to certified by the Soil Association 100% organic. So we are very proud of it. And now Cosmos.
Thank you so much, Mariano. And I'd like to move to Alejandro. I mean, being an Argentinian, that probably make you completely automatically resilient. But between brackets, we live in crisis, being crisis since forever. But I think it's much more to that. So what I want to ask you about resilience today. I mean, lockdown has been very tough, especially for your industry. When are you reopening, and how you will be reopening? And what is the future, do you think, not just for Shell Wellness, but in the context of social distancing for all those businesses that rely heavily on the inflow of people?
Well, I think that any challenging times or any difficult times are always an opportunity to grow on any aspect of life. And this is the way we've taken this opportunity personally, I will say, and also at SHA. We had to close middle of March, being nearly fully booked and having clients book until August, September. And we saw all that business disappear in a matter of 1 week. So definitely that's tough. We have over 300 families depending on SHA. We've taken advantage of this time to improve many things. I think that this is a lesson of humility for companies, for the world, for medicine, and we have to take advantage of it, definitely. In our case, we've been working on different angles from improving the facilities. It's the first time we close our facilities in 12 years, so we've taken advantage of that to improve our facilities. We've been researching a lot on all the sanitary aspects, and it's something that it worries me nowadays. I'm seeing what is happening in China with this second wave. I'm really concerned that we may be relaxing too much in Europe, and I'm not referred to relaxing with that the fact that I don't know if we should continue on self-isolation. It's clear that our economies cannot handle that, but we are not doing any tests in order to travel abroad, and I don't think that majority of hotel and tourist properties are taking the right measures for such a situation that we are crossing. And then, of course, it's a time to reinvent yourself. In our case, we've developed an e-health platform to continue supporting our guests when they are not at SHA. So we've been offering all type of health, wellness consultations, mindfulness, psychology, all this time through different platforms. And then we've been researching a lot on everything related to immunology. I think definitely you need to adapt, and from our poverty, it gives us more reason of being than ever. No, at the end of the day, we are not aware on a normal scenario of how important is our health. We think that we're going to have it forever, and when you have a situation like this is an awakening call for society. And I really hope, I expect that a big percentage of society is going to turn their eyes for a healthier lifestyle. And I see this as a great opportunity. We have to ask ourselves why this is happening. I'm sure you've seen that we have a pandemic every 100 years on the last centuries, no? So for somehow, I think this is an opportunity of evolution for our race, and we have to take advantage of it.
Thank you very much. And that's very wise words, actually. I mean, we should learn something from this, especially government should learn something from this. This is a question for Richard. So, and the same goes to you, Richard. I mean, post-lockdown, what do you expect to see from the florist industry? It's evident that people need to get used to the new normal. And what is the role of flowers post-lockdown?
Thank you. I think everybody would accept that flowers have always had the power to lift the spirits and bring joy. But for me, coming out of COVID-19, it's the preventative and restorative healthcare that flowers can bring. I think this is something that has been perhaps overlooked. And as the world grapples with the enormity of the challenge to restore and maintain mental health and resilience, I think perhaps the greatest human challenge that comes out of the pandemic will be those around mental health and well-being and resilience. And I think the role of flowers takes on a whole new level of importance as we adapt to living, socializing, and working in very different ways. I think it's long been known that receiving, working, or even just seeing flowers has this incredible ability to release a cocktail of dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. And that stimulates the brain to promote feelings of happiness, well-being, trust, calm, and belonging. And it's for that reason that flower arranging features really highly on lists of things, lists of activities, sort of community activities, which are widely known to boost mental health and build resilience. And actually have the ability to reduce our dependence on drugs and GPs and increase our dependence on things that are far more natural. For the longest time, these kind of community referrals or activities had no name. But I think now, and promoted by the RHS and by the Department of Health, this idea of social prescribing, where instead of drugs and GPs, we will prescribe people some activity, of which flower arranging and working with flowers and seeing flowers is super high on the list of things that can really, really change the life outcomes of mental health and physical health outcomes of people with long-term conditions and people who have poor mental health. But remember, we all have mental health, just some of us have poor mental health at times. Lonely and isolated, and people who have, sort of poor social and emotional well-being. So I think for me, flowers take on this whole new powerful role of helping us get back on our feet and build our mental health and resilience. And I love Alejandro's let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. If I may, I'd like to adopt it and say, let flowers be your medicine and your medicine be flowers. And food, if you like. For us, that's the really big change. For sure, that's the really big change, the role that we can play.
Thank you so much, Richard. And, what unites us all is nature. How we use nature, how we embrace nature, how we use nature for the business. And it's our obligation to preserve, conserve, restore our living world, basically. And this takes me to you, Loredana. So the beauty industries will also have to change post-lockdown. How will your business adapt, and what will be how the beauty industry you think will adapt overall post-COVID?
Thank you, Diana. Well, first of all, I think the beauty industry has changed already, because during the lockdown, people have been forced to shop online. And this, of course, the good effect of this has been that most people have been more discerning. They have understood more what sustainability is. They have understood more what real beauty is. And already we can see signs of a shift in the purchase pattern, because people are buying less but more quality. And also speaking with other, of course, businesses, owners, this is the trend. And definitely from what we have seen, I mean, the online sales, of course, have grown up a lot in this lockdown, and people have made many more inquiries. They were so thirsty. They wanted to know what was about the products, what beauty meant, and how to be more sustainable themselves. So I think this has shifted already, definitely. For what how we can adapt to this, we have discussed this a lot. And what we will do, we will support retailers, because I think that we will see a decrease in online sales, because people are now, they want to go out, they feel free, etc. But they have learned during this lockdown that they want some brands that they can trust, products they can trust. They have been so disorientated, and they need guidance now to have the shopping experience, which is needed now, but in a different way. So I think our duty is to inform retailers, to be behind them, so that they can deliver because it's not just about buying a product, especially in the beauty industry. It's about buying a philosophy, buying a provenance, because people now want to know where the products come from. They are less inclined to just follow. They are questioning much more, which is great. I think is a great success. And nature has done a big has had a big impact on this, showing that if we are kind to her, she is kind to us. And let me say, so let's beauty be the medicine as well. So to close what Richard and Alejandro said.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to pay some royalties to Alejandro. I mean, thank you so much for the ideas. But yeah, you said it. I mean, when we have been in lockdown, nature has the chance to breathe and to restore and to, kind of grow and be free from us. So we need to really rethink businesses and rethink how are we going to marry the well-being of people, our profits, but also how we can at the same time restore nature. Because conserving nature is not enough. We need to think about how we're gonna restore our planet. So this takes me to the last question from me, but then I will open to Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them on the Q&A box underneath your screen. And now this is a question for all the panelists. How will you keep relevant in this new normal? Perhaps I'd like to start with Richard and then move to Alejandro and then either Mariano or Loredana.
Thank you. Alongside, I think, things that all businesses are thinking about, authenticity and agility in their thinking, quick decision making. For us, it's going to be a relentless focus on people and talent. And that's really creating and publicizing opportunities for people who are underrepresented in our industry, frankly, to join our vocational floristry course at our International Flower School, to learn the skills they need to have access to training, coaching, mentoring, practical experience to be able to establish themselves in a career in floristry. We're the largest luxury floral design business in the world, and we want to use that voice of leadership. We want to show some leadership in really making a difference there. We're actually quadrupling the number of bursaries we announced a year ago. So that's 4 times as many people who'll be able to come through our school and then get access to the training they need. And I think for us, staying relevant is going to be about people, skills, talent, without question.
Thank you so much. Alejandro?
Well, I think I will start with the human side. No? Many brands have gone dark during these last weeks or months, and I understand it because keeping communicated with your clients, it means resources. But I think that more than ever, you need to keep whatever they consume or not, you need to keep communicating, and you need to keep taking care of your clients on this environment. Looking at their necessities, we need to be more agile than ever. So that requires research, innovation, then taking care of the teams as well. For everyone, it's been tough this time of self-isolation, and it's time to pamper everyone around us, to show that at the end of the day, any aspect of our life, business included, it's about human beings communicating with other human beings, no? And especially in our business of helping people to achieve balance, achieve optimal health, I think we need to continue evolving on that direction of authentic care, not only while they are at SHA, but permanent care of our guests over the time. I think that's the best way to maintain relevant after this uncertain situation that we've gone through.
Thank you, Alejandro. And I don't know who would like to take the question, if it's Mariano or Loredana.
I will. Right. I think we have to, I was thinking about this question, and we have to reshape the meaning of the normality. What is normality? If the normality has taken us in this situation, that was not normal. So in my vision, we have to create a new shape of normality where we need to slow down. The business must really base everything on people, and the company, the communication must be honest, transparent, clear. Also the educational part, also in our business, will have a big impact where we can educate people with all our experience. Actually, I was thinking this morning, we always see the nature, something outside us, but we are in nature. As I am a doctor, so all the time I watch the cells, read the cells, the mitochondria in our body working. And as a human being, we are the highest expression of nature. So whatever we do, as Alejandro was saying, to ourselves, we do to the nature. And whatever we do to the nature, we're doing to ourselves. So the sense of unity, I think, is the key for tomorrow and for today. It's a sense of unity where we are one, we are connected. There is nothing that we do that won't have an impact on other people on the planet. So to become conscious, so a new consciousness about this unity in life.
Thank you very, very much, Alejandro and Loredana and Mariano and Richard, for taking the time to be with us today. And now I'd like to kind of go to the people watching, actually, and we have lots of questions. So I will start with, Camille. Sustainability is the new trend for sure, but most of flowers are not locally grown, I presume. Can you then promise a sustainable brand if ingredients come from abroad? That is a question to, of course, Richard.
Sorry, can you just, Diana, can you just repeat the second half of that? You broke up, sorry. I missed
Can you then promise a sustainable brand if the ingredients come from abroad?
Yeah, absolutely. And a big part of our sustainability plan is exactly that, is sourcing from abroad. There's a sort of, there is a popular misconception actually that we should be buying British flowers all year round. The truth is they don't exist all year round. And in fact, by working globally and choosing carefully, we're supporting growing communities around the world. If you look at places like Colombia and Ecuador or Ethiopia, Tanzania, where there are communities growing roses and flowers and hydrangeas that we buy directly. And by buying directly from those communities, we're actually supporting communities that are investing in kids' education, often businesses, small micro businesses run by women. So it's absolutely the right thing to do. But what we do is we have a balanced scorecard approach to sourcing, which means we buy things that are in season, that grow naturally in the environment in which they're being grown. It's why we say no to peonies in January. If a bride wants peonies in January, we invite her to get married in June or choose something else, because it doesn't fit into it fits into the indefensible category. So it's much more complicated than just buying from next door, much more complicated. It's something we're far from perfect at, but we've worked really hard to understand the sort of global sourcing challenge and respond to that.
Thank you so much, Richard. And this is a question to Alejandro. I have been told that SHA is the place to be, a health temple where natural therapies are really important as science. I would like to know more about the methodology behind your treatments and success of SHA.
Well, I would say that the success of the methodology is actually that fusion. Unfortunately, Eastern and Western medicine never made an effort to work hand by hand. They are compatible because they work on, first because they have the same goal, or they should have the same goal, which is allowing us to live longer and better. And second, because they work on different levels. I always remember first time before opening, like 1 year or 2 years before opening, we had the first encounter between scientific doctors, let's say conventional doctors, and on the other side of the table, holistic doctors. And they started to argue, and that argument was going worse and worse. And I was looking at my father, hoping that he puts some order on the room, and he was just listening. And after 1 hour of arguing, there was a silence, and my father said, "This is the reason why I want to create SHA." No? And I have to say, it's been the most difficult challenge at SHA to make them work really as a team. Usually doctors, I have to say, and perhaps Mariano will agree with me, usually they have big egos, and sometimes they don't want to look at what they haven't learned at university. So they're always looking at what they have medical evidence and what they have research. And nowadays we've managed to create a team that has a global vision on health, that wants to get the knowledge from each other in the benefit of our guests. And the truth is that the whole is greater than its parts. So for any health issue, for any health goal that you may have, the fact of integrating natural medicine with conventional medicine with a common vision generates greater results than if you would use them separately. And that's definitely the success of our methodology.
Thank you very much, Alejandro. And this is the question. Okay. How doesn't have somebody specific to answer this question, but I'll ask it generally. How do you realistically think we can keep respecting nature and allow her to recover post-lockdown? As many businesses are very keen to get back to the way of life pre-lockdown. Whoever wants to answer that one.
I don't think life will be the same. I think businesses have accepted that people are going to work in different ways. So many more people working at home than before. So I'm not sure that people are keen to get back to life pre-lockdown. We are keen for the economy to recover, but I'm certainly not keen to lose the gain that we have made in terms of air pollution. I live in part of London that had quite bad air quality. I was reading this week that the air quality is twice as good as it was. It's half as polluted as it was before lockdown. That's a pretty good thing to try and maintain, but we have to find ways to do that. But I don't think it's true that we're all just trying to get back to life pre-lockdown. I'm certainly not.
Thank you, Richard. This is a question for Mariano. Why do you think it's so hard for many beauty brands to become organic?
Yeah, because it is not an easy choice. I personally made this choice for being a doctor. I said, no, we have to put in the products the best to protect both nature and people. And but again, it's about the education, because if more and more people ask for organic, ask for top quality ingredients, we will push, or the clients will push the companies to make decisions, to make a change. So people are the change, and then we need to be the change we want. So in my vision, the industry is changing now. Also, big companies are creating more and more products with the natural ingredients, with organic ingredients. I think it's a journey, and my hope is that this journey is quite fast, because of course I would like to see most of the ingredients organic. But it is a journey, so we need to change the formulation of what is called the green chemistry. So it takes a bit of time to change, but if the people change, the industry will change.
Thank you very much. This is a question for Richard, actually. I would love to know if there's any connection between efforts to rewild the UK and the growing of British flowers.
Wow, got a great question. The answer is I don't know. We're right in the middle of British Flower Week at the moment, towards the end of British Flower Week now, which is something that we look forward to every single year. I think there is a general move in the UK for rewilding, but I'm not sure, I couldn't say whether those rewilding projects are connected to an ambition to increase the number of British wildflowers. Presumably that means for use by florists. I mean, clearly there is an increase in the number of wildflowers there, but I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. I'd love to know.
Thank you. And a question for Alejandro. Verde has told us that Shah Wellness is opening in the UK. Can you tell us more about this?
Unfortunately not. We are not opening in the UK. We're starting an international expansion. And we have the goal. Shah, it's a very difficult concept to replicate. But our goal will be to have one Shah per continent. We are planning to open our second location in Mexico. It was scheduled for end of 2021, and we had to move it during COVID delay for beginning of 2022. It's in Costa Mujeres, a beautiful land north from Cancun. And then the third property will be located in Emirates, on a very privileged natural reserve between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Not the UK at the moment, hopefully someday.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I think this is kind of, we got to the end of our time, and I just wanted to ask one more question to each one of you. What do you think 2021 will bring? How do you see, forget about 2020 is a write-off. So 2021, what do you think that we can expect for business and for people? I mean, I'd like to start with Richard.
I think we can expect some recovery. I think we can expect some determined effort to improve the environment. I don't know how much progress we will make by then, but some determined effort. And I think that genuinely we can expect more kindness. I think we need and should expect more kindness.
Thank you. And Mariano or Loredana?
Please.
I agree entirely with Richard. And as I said earlier as well, people are much more mindful now. So we will see, probably we will be astonished to see people we already know that have changed completely. Because we look around and already with all this Zooming that we are all doing, we can see smiles, we can see people are more open, more kind, more gentle. and with each other, but they are definitely, I think, the biggest impact is on nature, because nature has showed off, basically. And people have finally seen, even people who had never thought about this, have seen that nature can offer more. And so we will use nature more, we will enjoy nature more. And with the nature, beauty products, flowers, centers, because it's all connected. So yes, this is what I see.
May I say something?
Of course.
I wrote recently an article in Italian, and the translation is, when the grass grows, doesn't make any sound, but it does every day. So what I meant in the article, that often, like a COVID, big situation make a lot of noise, but people, love, passion, and compassion grows every day in silence, and suddenly we will see a big change. So we are reaching the critical mass where we will be the change.
Thank you. Alejandro, last word.
You know, this has been like the hamster that it's been on the wheel and then had to stop and see that the world wasn't that. I think this is what happened to majority of us, or to all of us. And that will bring different changes for humanity. Definitely a better life-work balance will be one. And this remote work and webinars, of course, is here to stay. More interest, as I say before, about our taking care of ourselves, about learning more from ourselves, learning more from nature. We've been too focused on electronics. We've been too focused on fast consumption. We've been too focused on the packaging, on what we wear, on the clothes we wear, on the watch we wear, on the car we drive. And what we have discovered this time at home is that we haven't used any of this. You know? And really, what really it's important to take our real wealth, our true wealth. It's our health and our planet. So everything that is related with these two crucial elements, it's what we have to focus in.
Thank you. So thank you very much, everybody, for the time. Richard, Loredana, Mariano, Alejandro, for taking the time and for sharing with us your wisdom. And I'd like to hand this back to Oliver, please.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Alejandro, Richard, Dr. Mariano, and Loredana for your time today. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Please join us on Thursday at 2 for our next one in the series, which is the power of innovation. So what we will be discussing is the benefit of continuously innovating and how it can ensure a brighter future for the brand. So please register for the newsletter to secure your spot, and hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. But thank you, everybody, again.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.